how are you doing the common expression also?
How are you? Yeah, it's not as common as how are you, but yeah, it's common, very common.
Okay.
So you're never wrong to say how are you. So that one is always safe. Don't worry about it. Many people don't think about it too much. It's not. There's no really good rule about it. So don't worry too much. If you go to England, maybe you should worry just a little bit more because they tend to be a little bit more formal. But in the U.S., don't worry. Even if you speak to the President of the United States, maybe you can say how's it going. It's okay. Oh, but
Where is it like for a week or two? When
yeah.
special?
Now, if you get up and let's say, okay, if you are going to give a formal speech for the White House, okay, so you're a formal speech giver and you get in front of a formal audience and it's a serious topic, I think you should say, how are you? But other times, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Right, so, Mansoor, how's it going?
Literal.
Good.
Literal.
Glad to hear it. Good. Did you have other questions?
No, Sheri.
Okay, thanks, Mansoor. Okay, Bradley, did you have any questions?
Hi, sorry. I have a question on the pronunciation of the name.
Rodriguez. Okay, let's go look at it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Your first R sounds great. Your second R just not quite as round as first one. So actually, if you want, think of it as Dree.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. You can do that too. It doesn't make any difference. Rodriguez.
Stewart. Stewart.
Yep. That's right.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. Nigeria.
Okay, you're away from your microphone, I think.
Nigeria.
No, I'm on
Nigeria.
microphone.
Okay, got it. I can hear you now. Okay, so plurals or possessive. Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Okay, so let's start with Mr. Okay, that might be easiest. So you have the word Mr. Yeah, that's it, Misters. That wouldn't be very common to say, Misters. That Mister's wife is over here or something. Okay, so, oh gosh, you're right, that's gonna be tough. It's not how, I don't think people usually say this though. Mrs. Yeah, that's weird, but I think you're right. I think that's what it would be. Mrs. Oh, right here. Mrs. Yeah, I don't even think I've ever heard anybody say that. So, everybody in this room is married. Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Black. There are many Mrs. here. It's really, really strange, but yeah, I think that would be that. So there are a lot of married women here. Yeah, you wouldn't usually say, you wouldn't even say Misters very often. It would be kind of an odd conversation. And even with the Miss, now here's what's weird is when you talk about multiple Misses, then it would sound exactly the same as that one. So you would have to know from the context. But it would be odd. Right.
There are several businesses. Sometimes
Yeah, but if not even, let's say that one of my friends said that, oh, there are many misses that get together. So somebody would laugh because it sounds strange. I mean, we can understand what it means, but it wouldn't.
How would you?
Then you would say, I don't know, you would say many of the contestants get together. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just not usually done in that style. Is there any reason that you thought of it?
I can't go on.
Yeah.
Thought about it. Normal.
Yeah, it's just not very common. It's maybe something that somebody could make a joke about. But I think most people would explain it in a different way. They would say a lot of men have arrived. A lot of men's colognes are nice instead of a lot of Mr.'s colognes. I don't know. It would not normally be possessive or plural. You can do that in other languages. I know you can do this in a lot of languages, but in English it just is too kind of clunky and weird. So, yeah, it actually should. Yeah, you're right. Mrs. If we actually use the word Mrs. because this word is pronounced as Ms. So for all of these words, all you need to do is, if it ends with the R, you can add an S, but if it ends with an S, you need to have a schwa and a Z. So all of these Mrs., and Mrs. Yeah. Let me do a really quick dictionary check and see if there's anything it says about this. Mrs. Okay. Older use. Yeah, it doesn't really show up as anything. I can't see anything about it that talks about plural. So,
I have a question. How let's say one of my family cows.
now that's a good question. Yeah.
Cows.
That's exactly, yeah, and that would not, it seems a little bit funny, but actually that's exactly how it's pronounced. Whose book is this? Oh, it's Charles's. Yeah, and that's exactly how you do it. So you hear the Z sound for the Charles, and then the EZ after it. Charles's. My boss. Yeah, so you may not see the spelling like that, but there is. Bosses, Charles's. Yeah, that's right. You can hear that too. So there are certain letters that you need to have a schwa between them. So President Bush's paintings were on display. It sounds like, it actually sounds exactly like bushes. There are many bushes in the backyard. But Mr. Bush's bushes need trimming.
How about me? The bushes around his house.
Around his what?
Like house.
Oh, good, got it. Mr. Bush's bushes are around his houses. Yeah, it's exactly right. Yeah, so they end up sounding different. So Charles's, yeah, it's just that the Mrs.'s, I don't know why actually, but it doesn't really show up in English. It's just, I don't know. I think people avoid that. If somebody has a good answer, that would be fine. I would love to hear it, but it seems kind of odd for English.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer, but yeah,
If you don't mind, can you go to the base page?
yeah.
What is the first one? MS apostrophe. The last one?
Well, okay, so you know what this is? MS? Do you know this one? Ms. Jones?
Unmarried? No, married woman.
No, either one. We don't know. It doesn't matter. This is a term that has been in use for maybe the last 30 years. And before that, it didn't exist because many women complain. If you say Mr. Jones, is he married? We don't know. Maybe he's married. Maybe he's not married. So many women said it's not fair. Why should this indicate our marriage status? So Ms. is a neutral term. It just means a woman, but we don't know if she's married or not married. And so it's pretty common these days. Many people say that. So we're going to hear from Ms. Clinton. Of course, you can say Mrs. Clinton, that's fine, but Ms. Clinton, it just means a woman. It just means a woman. That's all.
What is the difference between MS and MISS in the pronunciation?
The difference is the last sound. So the MISS has an S sound. It sounds like this. Miss. And the MS sounds like Ms. So you use a voice sound like that.
Okay, so if it is yes, then it is unmarried. If it is
That's
yes,
right.
then it may be married or it may be unmarried, right?
Yeah. So Ms. does not tell you if the woman is married or not, but Miss means she's single.
Okay.
So in school these days, a lot of children call their teacher Ms. Jones, Ms. Black, Ms. Johnson, because many young women do not say Miss or Mrs. A lot of older women still do, but I think it's changing. Okay, so Tom, you can unmute yourself. I just have background noise, so you're asking about Madam?
Yes, thinking maybe instead of Miss Jones, can you say Madam Jones?
It would be, it would either be a formal situation, especially from another country, usually not from the U.S. Madam Jones, or a prostitute, maybe. That's actually, the boss of the prostitutes. So it wouldn't be so common. Probably not. Do you ever hear that in English? Madam.
For example, if I write a letter to somebody formally, I should, because I don't know she's Mrs. or she's Mrs. or Miss, so I say Madam something.
Yeah, actually, if it's in a more formal situation, like maybe like Madam Jones will address the conference. Something where she has a lot of power. Oh, I was going to say will address. So it's not really, really common. It has to be a certain situation.
So I should use Miss Miss Jones. Maybe more
Yeah,
common.
usually these days Ms.
Okay.
is the second one. So that's a really common one these days.
Also, I use Mids with the second one, so to know that she married or not.
Right. So so Madam can either be kind of a high honor or a prostitute. So you need to be a little bit careful about how you use this one.
Okay.
If you speak French, of course it's okay, but in English,
Mm.
you should be a little bit careful. But
Mm.
for example, if Hillary Clinton runs for president and she becomes the president of the U.S., she will probably be addressed as Ms. President. We never had that before. But these days, a male president will be addressed as Mr. President. Excuse me, Mr. President, would you answer this question? But if Hillary Clinton became president, I'm pretty sure they would say, excuse me, Ms. President.
Excuse me,
I'm not
Miss
positive
President.
about that, but I think so. Yeah. We've never had it happen before, so we don't know
Yeah.
for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. You know,
Okay.
that would happen. Okay. So, Tom, what questions do you have?
I want to ask you about the melody. Like, how can I speak with melody in English when I do, especially for Toastmaster speech? Yeah.
Do you, um, do you ever sing? Do you like to
Yes,
sing?
I like to sing. Yeah.
Do you sing in English?
Some song, not all the songs. Yeah.
Do you ever go to karaoke
Yes, I did. Yeah.
and sing English songs?
Yes. For example, I can sing the song like Jingle Bell, Jingle All the Way. Yeah, that kind of song. Yeah.
You know, the,
Mm.
the singing is, it actually can be very useful for your pronunciation.
Okay.
So, you know how you say jingle bells and you spend more time on ding and more time on bells
Yeah.
and more time on all and way.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it's spoken. It's exaggerated a lot, but it's spoken a lot like that. One of the things that would be really useful is number one, singing, but number two, just like you and I've done before, imitating people on YouTube, imitating people on television, in movies. And sometimes I find if you close your eyes
Mm.
and you just try to sound exactly like them without even thinking too much, sometimes that's pretty good.
Okay.
You know, just pretend like you're some actor or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can really help.
Like
So,
for next, I will have a next
Go ahead,
speech,
sir.
humorous speech in Toastmaster on Saturday.
Good for
So
you.
maybe I say for you a few sentences with melody. So it's see if it works or not.
Okay. Let's
So
hear one
because
of your
it's humorous, so the topic is I am gay. You know, it's supposed to be funny.
Okay.
So I say a few sentences. I'm gay. Now there's some advantage and disadvantage of become gay. Let me tell you about the disadvantage first. The advantage first. For example, before I becoming gay, I could not date any girls at all. But now, you know, girls just come to me naturally. And
Okay.
yeah.
You kind of got it, but you're now. First of all, are you sure you're not going to offend anybody? But second of all,
Yeah.
you need to on some of those words give it a little bit more time.
More time.
You know, yeah, you want to have a little bit more drawl.
More.
So first of all, more drawl.
What do you mean by
Yeah,
more
so-
draw?
You know how the people in Texas talk? Do you know? Hi, my name is Sheri, and I'm happy to meet you.
Yeah.
So on some of those words, there's a lot of extra time. Hi, my name, not everything, you know, but the content is to get more time. That's what we call a drawl. When you're speaking American English, you can really look at the Southern speech and you can hear that. But I think the British people look at Americans and say, every American has a drawl. So
So-
just more time. So Try it again and just be really, give it a little bit more time on some of the words.
So, hi, my name is
No, you don't have to say hi. You know your content words.
Content was okay. I'm gay. Now there's some advantage and disadvantage of becoming gay. And let me tell you about the advantage first. Like,
You know what? It does have some draw.
it does.
And yeah, I think what you need to do is practice it like this. Practice it a little bit slower.
Slower.
And then when you're really doing the speech, you're automatically going to speed up a little bit. I mean, it happens all the time. If you practice, let's say that this is your normal speed, you know, like this, and then I tell you, oh, please practice like this. Okay. When you give the speech, you're actually going to be like this. So this would be a good one.
Yeah.
So just take it a little bit slower.
Okay. Yep,
Okay?
that makes
You're
sense.
doing well.
Yeah. And one more question, because I already mixed up with the past tense and the present tense during speech. So how do I make sure that I speak the right, using past tense at the right time?
Well, if you're telling a story about what happened in the past, use the past tense.
Yes.
But if you're talking about general things, use the present tense.
Okay.
Okay, give it a shot.
Like I said, like before before I became gay, right? Become past tense. No, I could not attract any girls at all because I need to buy a house, send them a lot of roses, and they say no.
All right, that's better draw.
Yeah.
That is a better draw. Okay. Remember this word?
Girls.
Girls.
Girl.
Yeah.
Girls.
So,
Girls.
I needed to buy a house. I needed to send them roses. Right?
Yeah. I need to buy a house, and I need to send them roses.
That's good.
So you need to
really
do the draw on the content words.
Yeah, especially the most important word. So, for example, in your case, you just said house, roses. So whatever is going to be the most important thing, spend more time. That's the American drawl, and that actually sounded quite good. Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm sitting here in California. It's really hot. Actually, it's super hot, but those of you in Vietnam, you know, you probably know how hot things really are. It's really hot in Vietnam, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I spend more time, you know, on content words, give you the information, and draw it out. Okay, and when you do that, believe it or not, you don't want to be annoying, but you do want to just take just a tiny bit one time, then you normally do. Okay, I don't know if are you still there, Tom?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, I can't hear you. I'm going to mute you for a bit. Does anybody else have any comments about that? Anybody have any comments about the draw? What I mean by draw? Spend more time. Bradley, I think you and I talked about that a little, didn't we?
Yes.
Having a draw.
May sound, maybe like for us, sound better or easier to understand if we draw.
Yeah, just draw it out a little bit, you know, a little bit. But not everything, not your structure words, not those less important words, but the things that you want the other person to really notice. You spend more time, and it makes a difference. People really do hear it better because that's what they expect. here a little more time on some of those things, you know?
Yeah. Well, when it's like that way, it's better.
Well, that's because I want you to see my most important information. I'm displaying it for you very easily. That's a real characteristic of a Muslim. Just people spend it maybe not like that because that's exaggerating quite a bit. But if you can learn to spend a little more time on the words that are important, people understand, and especially important for Vietnamese speakers, Chinese speakers. Sorry, I assume that's everybody here. Indian speakers, sometimes your syllables might be too short. Give them a little more time. So, okay. Let me talk to Kai just for a second, okay? Kai, let me unmute you, all right? Hi, Kai.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, I think the drawing technique is very important here. But for me, I think that sometimes it's really hard to, like you mentioned later, it's really hard to keep balance. Like, I mean, sometimes if you drawing too much, you feel a little bit unnatural.
Well, but it doesn't sound unnatural to those listeners.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine. Okay, here I am, this American person. I speak Chinese, and I sound kind of flat. You know, I don't use the tones very well. I make all my sounds really long, and you probably think, oh, geez, that's horrible Chinese, right? Let's say, you know, I know so much Chinese, right? I'm joking. So Kai, 你好吗? 你好吗? Do you understand me?
Yes, for sure. Yes.
Does my Chinese sound good?
Yeah, it's reasonable good. Yes.
I'm trying to make it bad. 你好吗? See, I can't even do it. Sorry, I'm just too good. No, I'm just kidding. But you can imagine though, if somebody's just really flat, and then I say to you, you say, well, Sherry, Chinese is kind of flat. Well, I'm sorry, but it just feels so unnatural to me. And then what do you say? You say, well, it doesn't feel unnatural to me. It feels great when you use some different tones. And so, from a different point of view, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I know it feels unnatural, but it really isn't. It's kind of like that TH. You know, people say, well, I can't put my tongue through my teeth. It feels so strange. Everybody's going to laugh at me. And then no, they're not. Nobody will notice. They will just say, wow, that sounds pretty good. They will not notice at all. It's that same kind of thing. They won't notice. They just think, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, good to hear that here. I thought actually I was kind of like if I kind of pronounce each word, not each word, pronounce some words too much, I feel, at least to myself, I feel that's probably unnatural from my own perspective because I didn't really get any feedback from some speakers like you. Yeah, I think this definitely kind of an insurance to me actually to kind of do that more often.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? We don't do those things because we feel weird, but those are actually the exact things we need to do. But you know, the more you do it, the less weird it will become.
Yes.
Yeah, you picked up a lot of things, Kai. From the time we met a while ago until now, you picked up quite a bit. You do give a little more drawl. You probably don't even notice it.
Actually, I noticed that I think since we talked to each other, I think at least a year ago, I think I noticed I speak too fast. That's the problem. Why people don't get it quite well. And for sure, I speak now. I speak much slower than before.
Well, you're actually pretty comfortable to understand.
Okay, great. Yeah, good. Thank you.
So yeah, it makes a big difference. And so this is good for everybody to know, because sometimes you think if you slow down, you're just going to sound like a stupid person, right? But actually, English speakers, it depends on the person. Some people speak pretty fast, but those content words are slower. And that's what a drawl is all about. Give your important words more time, because the poor American brain is built to understand those content words. They want to take more time to hear the content. They don't know that, but really they're listening for your information. And if something happens so quickly, like, hi everybody, my name is Sherry, and I'm here in California, and it's really hot here, and you wouldn't believe how, oh my gosh, it's really hot. It's in fact in England, and can you understand me? Maybe. But, yeah, I think I took too many vitamins today. But it's just crazy. You're like, wait a minute, I'm going back to the very first sentence you said and trying to figure it out, and you already made 10 sentences. So give them a little time. Slow down on those content words. Pause every once in a while. Let that poor American brain catch up. So, hi, I'm Sherry, and here I am. See, I said and really fast, and I said I really fast. Here I am, sitting in here in California. It's really hot. You wouldn't believe how hot it is. Okay, I didn't make every word long, just the important ones.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, other than that, not really, no more questions here.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so anyway, let's just, I'll let you unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Yes.
Does anybody else, can you think of anything right now? Any other questions? Kai, you have another question? Okay, guess not. All right, why don't we take a look back through these things? Okay, so you can try these with me. Try these again, okay? So let's try joyous. Okay, spend more time on joy. A joyous occasion.
Joyous. Okay.
The birth of a baby is a joyous occasion. A joyous occasion. Joyous. Or I guess when your soccer team wins, it's a joyous occasion. Okay, routine. What's your daily routine? Do you have a routine that you follow? What routine? Routine. The reason the T is strong is because the stress is on second syllable. Routine. Okay, and then there's the guy's name, Pistorius. Pistorius. It sounds a lot like a story. Once upon a time. Pistorius. Rodriguez. Okay, and it doesn't matter to me if you think of it as a D and then an R or a DR. Should be the same sound no matter what. Rodriguez. And Stewart. And it can be a first name or a last name. Stewart is sometimes a given name, and sometimes a family name. Stewart. Nigeria. Instantaneous. Okay, the attraction was instantaneous. We watch the news instantaneously. You can see what's happening around the world instantaneously, which is pretty cool. Okay, how's it going? How are you? I don't know what to say about that. How's it going? It's actually pretty common most of the time. Schedule. Okay. Schedule is British, and if you say schedule, I think a lot of people will understand that, but most people know it's British. Schedule. What's your schedule like? Okay, Mr. Mrs. Okay, it is good to know if you didn't realize about the word Ms.
Ms.
Good to know.
Ms.
Mrs.
Jones.
Ms. has been common for the last few decades, probably since the women's rights movement in the 60s.
Yes.
So, wow, that's a long time. That's,
Mrs.
well, maybe the 70s. Yeah.
I have question. So,
Ms.
Miss Jones, so for you have Miss Jones.
Miss Jones.
Jones,
Miss
then
Jones.
the S at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're making, yeah, you're right, like Charles. If you're making possessive, yeah. So, Ms. Jones's
Jones.
coat was left in the building. Ms. Jones's, whatever, diamond ring fell off. Jones's, yeah. So like Charles's. And usually you don't see another S, although you can. There are two rules about that. You can just put the apostrophe and it takes the place of the S, or you can put the apostrophe S. If a word ends with S. That's why before I did boss and bosses. Or you can say bosses.
So in the line, you can use either one. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like in the formal line. So without the
So when you, yeah, you can. So there are two types of, there's two schools of thought on that. So there are two different ways to do it. Okay, here, I have a question though. How would you say that? All of my boss, and they own something. All of my bosses, yeah, my boss's cars. So each boss has a car. It's a plural boss and possessive. Yeah, so just one second.
So for the second, can you still put the S at the end? Bosses.
No.
So,
Yeah, bosses. So it ends up sounding actually B-O-S-S apostrophe S, B-O-S-S-E-S, and B-O-S-S-E-S apostrophe sound the same. They all sound the same. So you have to know from the context. Usually you know because the other words will tell you.
for the right, the first one, B-O-S-S-S, you have two options. Either put the apostrophe,
Yes.
apostrophe or apostrophe.
Yes.
For the
Yes.
bosses, you can write only one way. You can put another S at the end. Put another S at the end of bosses.
Well, the difference is though that you're not going to pronounce that extra S. You know, that's a good question, but I don't think so. I don't think you would put an extra S. There's a.
Then it look very S.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. There's a second, I'm gonna look at my email. What's her name? There's a woman in England, and you know, when English people have a little bit different way of doing some things, but she wrote a good article the other day.
On this topic.
Yeah, exactly on this topic. Let me see if this is right. I just checked my email, so. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing, but I'm going to give you her website, so if you want to go and take a look, I'll put it in the chat box right now. Now, she's the one who wrote a book about the history of English spelling, and I really, really liked it, so I contacted her several months ago. And so, yeah. So there's some. Yeah, I don't know if it has everything on it, but you can check through her website and see some other things because she has a lot of information about spelling. She's kind of like the spelling queen. So, but there are some differences of spelling because she's using British spelling, but not really about the S. The S is kind of the same as the N. So anyway, hopefully that helps. So yeah, guys, go check that out if you want. You can look through her website. You know, take some of the quizzes that she has. There's some pretty good stuff there. Okay, I'm going to unmute everybody, okay? So let me unmute you. Okay. Does anybody have anything else to add? Are you able to get that link? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, and just you can check it out, see if you
Mm.
like it. But I thought she had some pretty good things to talk about, and I think it would be very useful for you guys as well, and probably useful for me too.
Yeah.
Gosh. In fact, let's see. Maybe when you have time, see if you can find anything on her website about possessive words and the spelling. I'm not sure what she has, but anyway, I think you can probably find something on that. Okay, good. So if you come tomorrow, I will instantaneously show up at the same time, and we will have another class. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Sheri has to go, but I will see you soon.
See you, Sherry.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.